Hello there, darlings. Welcome to the Clockwork Cabaret. They are old, they are not hip. They are the weird answers that you didn't know you needed or wanted. And now, for a friendly reminder, this show is for adults. That darling DJ duo, Emmett Davenport and Lady Attercop, drink cocktails, have potty mouths, and at least one of them was raised by wolves.
And with the sound of the cuckoo, you know that it is time for the Clockwork Cabaret.
Hooray!
I am Emmett Davenport.
And I am Lady Attercop.
And, I don't know. This week I picked some songs all because I wanted to annoy Lady Attercop.
It's true.
I discovered one song that I wanted to use to torment her, and,
One song in particular.
Yes.
To be fair.
No, it's a good version.
It's a good version. And that song was used to tease me growing up, but it also became a weapon that I was able to wield at other people.
That's true. Yes, and what song we're talking about is Tomorrow from Annie.
The sun will come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason being, because, she's a ginger.
I have curly red. I grew up with curly red hair.
Yes. And I'm sure
can't imagine why that comparison happened.
I'm sure all our listeners with ginger coloring got the same treatment.
At least in America they did, yes.
Or Pippi Longstocking.
Pippi Longstockings. I also got called Pippi a couple of times. I stopped the Annie comparisons by singing at people aggressively.
Yes. Anne of Green Gables was also
I never got an Anne of Green Gables.
Maybe that's
I'm too, my hair was curly and freckly, so people weren't pulling Anne of Green Gables out at me. I got Pippi Longstocking, and I got Annie.
Okay.
Annie, I was able to stop, as I said, by singing at them.
Yes.
And I was able to stop the Pippi Longstockings by kicking people in the shins.
Which seems like a very Pippi thing
Pippi
to do.
Longstockings thing to do. To be fair, I only kicked one guy in the shins, but you only have to kick one.
That is true.
You just have to say, if you don't stop, I'm going to kick you. I'm going to kick you in the shins, and I'm wearing clogs because it's the 90s, and so it's going to hurt.
Oh, the phase in the 90s where everybody wore clogs.
I had wooden-soled shoes.
I too had a pair. So
it was
and actually my roommate Amber also had a pair. It was a thing that happened.
It was for anybody that's you didn't really wear full on wooden
they were
clogs.
They were wooden clogs.
Yes,
we did.
The soles were wooden.
We used them, Amber and I used them to imitate horse clopping.
Yes, they were very...
While we were walking around, so we would take them off and run around
and
go
kind of Monty Python
it with our clogs. That's actually how we became friends.
Oh, yeah, it's useful.
Yes, it was ridiculous.
It's also useful for your friends to know where you are if you're on a hard surface.
Yes,
which a lot of homes in Florida had. South Florida, I should specify. I don't know what y'all are doing up in northern Florida. Had tile flooring, so it's always a good, useful echolocation. The 90s are back. All of the things from the 90s are back in ways, but sometimes worse.
Yeah, I don't.
Emmett, do you want to hear about what I spent this weekend watching?
No. What?
You want to know?
I don't know. Was it something 90s related? Do you watch My So-Called Life?
No, I did not. This is all reboots.
Okay.
So I watched the New Kids in the Hall, which is just basically the old Kids in the Hall with 100% more dicks. Yes. I think there was zero.
And swearing.
Yes, and many more F-bombs.
Yes.
So more dicks, more F-bombs, which is fine. Just be aware, listeners, if you decide to watch the kids, if you were a fan of the Canadian sketch comedy show Kids in the Hall and decide to hop on that nostalgia train and watch the new one that's up on Amazon, there are middle-aged white men dick.
Oh yeah, there is.
In the first episode? The first episode.
It's the first episode.
I think it's the first sketch of the first episode. They want buckle in.
They want you to know right away what you're
like,
getting
we're
into.
allowed to show nudity now.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny.
Yes.
I will give it that.
Dave Foley and Kevin McDonald, I believe,
are just full on naked.
Yes. I watched it as well, so
And I also watched the Rescue Rangers reboot.
Oh,
Did
I was
you
going
know?
to. I was going to, but I realized that I needed to be a little more intoxicated than I was. And
I was a little bit intoxicated,
didn't.
and I did watch it.
And was it any good?
Oh man,
Was it terrible? It was terrible.
The animation was the 2D, the quote unquote. It's not 2D. It was done on a computer, obviously.
Yeah.
But the quote unquote 2D animation was very bad.
Oh.
Gumball did a better job.
Oh. Okay.
So-
I mean, Gumball is cute.
Oh, Gumball
though.
is great. I like Gumball.
Yeah.
But Gumball is also a TV show. This was a mini, this is a made for Disney movie.
Yeah.
So you would expect that the budget for this would be higher than Gumball. But yeah, so it does that same kind of mix of animation styles, which is one of the things to love about Gumball. This movie does it, but not as well. Yeah. And John Mulaney is, I think he's Chip. No, he's Dale.
Oh.
No, wait, which one is which? Chip. He's Chip.
Okay.
He's the smarter one.
Who's-
And then I forget who Dale was, but...
I know. I thought Andy Samberg was somehow
maybe
involved.
it was Andy Samberg was Dale. Yes.
Okay.
And he was 3D animated. He got the quote-unquote 3D
Oh, he got upgraded.
upgrade, and it was... The 3D animation was ugly, and the 2D animation was bad. So even any nostalgia you might have invoked in you... you can't even feel it because you're just staring at it going, God, this is terrible.
Oh.
Gadget makes an appearance and they get the original voice, which is great, but then you're like, oh man, this animation is rough. Again, like they did it on Gumball but better. So
Well,
watch that instead.
That's kind of a shame because Detective Pikachu was surprisingly good.
Yeah, they were counting
so I
it
was-
like the most cameos since Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and there were cameos of
Right.
characters you're gonna recognize, but like
Who cares?
they're briefly on screen. It's like in a Comic-Con situation, so you don't. And every other character is a non-character animated to look like some other animation style or more famous animated character, so it's really not.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was soulless, joyless. The animation sucked, and
They just needed to renew their copyright.
yeah, they definitely needed to renew their copyright. Yeah,
That's all that is.
Tried
It's
to
30
make
years. Every 30 years. That's why you get reboots when you do from the evil mouse.
yeah. So that they can keep their. That's why they redo Mickey Mouse cartoons every so often. It's to re-up their.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll notice there are subtle shifts in Mickey's character sheet or character design. It's to keep the copyright active because late stage capitalism is a dystopian nightmare that ruins everything.
Oh, it's true.
And then
Which is also a plot point throughout Kids in the Hall.
actually it is.
So there you go. I appreciated the jokes about Brain Candy, which was their first feature-length film that they made that I enjoyed at the time, but it wasn't great.
No.
And apparently it didn't make any money or enough money.
I would not imagine.
And that's one of the jokes.
And that is the joke. Paul Bellini makes an appearance. We were very excited to see Paul Bellini.
I enjoyed the Head Crusher.
Oh, yep.
He was my favorite for some weird reason. I don't know. I crushing your head.
I crush your head. Nobody home.
Yes.
And the kid was like, how much does my head weigh? Which Ducky and I have now not stopped talking in that voice to each other because we're Gen X and we were formed in the 90s, and there's just some things that are fundamental to our personalities, apparently.
I feel like Kids in the Hall and the young ones
the young ones were very formidable.
Were definitely things that I watched that probably explains a lot to anyone who knows me.
And don't forget Disney Afternoon. For me, it was the Kids in the Hall, Young Ones, Disney Afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
A heady cocktail.
Gargoyles.
Oh, Gargoyles. I rewatched Gargoyles when they released it on Disney Plus.
I did too. The first season is good.
The first season is good. And I liked all the Shakespearean nods. I liked all the Avalon and Shakespeare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I liked all of the mythological imagery stuff. Is it the second season where it goes like weird?
I think it is the second season that goes weird.
They update the theme music, and then the animation style changes, and it just gets weird.
One thing I had forgotten about Gargoyles is how absolutely fucky it is.
Oh, yes.
I was like, wow. Everyone was horny on this show, and they wanted everyone to be as fuckable as possible.
It is true, and also all of the Star Trek Next Generation actors are involved in it, and it's very weird. Like, when I originally watched it, I don't think I necessarily knew who they were.
Oh, I did. It was very weird. Like, Riker is the bad guy.
Yes. I think I recognized their voices a little bit, but I don't think I really was paying that much attention at the time. But as an adult now, it's like, oh, I know who all of it. This is very weird.
Yeah, if we're going to do it Disney, let me ask you a question. If you were going to do a more adult reboot of one of your Disney Afternoon properties, why did you not do Gargoyles? It was already a little bit more adult than the other stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, Elisa and Goliath clearly wanted to bone. I mean, why not just put that right out in the open?
I know they could have then actually that would have been Beauty and the Beast.
I mean,
the TV show. The TV show with Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman.
Yes.
Which I watched. I mean, that was the 80s, but late 80s, early 90s.
That was the late 80s, early 90s, yeah.
I watched that whole thing.
I
was obsessed with it.
I did not.
I was obsessed with it.
I did.
I really liked the special effects.
I did. I liked
the
Vincent.
Makeup.
Yeah.
I liked Vincent's makeup.
I did have a crush on Vincent. I'm not going to lie.
I did not realize that it was Ron Perlman.
I didn't realize that was Ron Perlman under there either. And I did have a crush on Vincent. My aunt was really into Beauty and the Beast. My mom wasn't so much. I think that's why I didn't see it, because I was just a little too young.
Yeah.
But my aunt was really into it. So when she would visit, I would see it, and I had a crush on the Lion Man.
Yeah.
Again, how I did not become a furry is a mystery for the ages.
It was just a dice roll.
It was a dice roll. I saw the wrong furry art at an impressionable age, and and that killed any inclination I had towards it. That is actually the truth. I went in these comic book shop that I frequented had a spinner rack in the back of both, like zines and indie comics, and I saw a very upsetting furry zine. At an age I was too young to see this very upsetting furry zine.
That will do it.
Someone who is very clearly a fan of Arcrum, we shall say.
Oh. Yeah.
It was black and white, hand stapled, probably hand delivered. And so I was like, you know what? This isn't for me.
Yeah, no.
And that was sorry furries, that was my first impression of y'all for a long time.
Oh.
I know. It's a little sad. It wasn't sad until I met other ones later in life as an adult that I went, oh no, they're not all weirdos that live in a basement. It's not all our crumbs. Okay. Oh no, they're nice. Oh, actually this is wholesome. Okay.
Yeah. No, like I said, it was a dice roll. It was a roll of the dice.
It was a roll of the dice. If it had just been Gadget, what was Gadget's last name? Gearloose? I don't know. I don't think
remember.
So. I think that was Darkwing Duck.
There
was a Gearloose and Darkwing Duck, wasn't there?
I don't remember their last names.
I don't either. I think only Gadget had one.
All I know is
Monterey Jack.
All I know is that Robin Hood, the Disney Robin Hood, and then that just opened the floodgates for a lot of people.
That was everyone's gateway drug.
Yes, and then
that was my favorite Disney movie for a very long time.
Mine too. Also, I always liked Robin Hood movies. So
I've always liked. We have discussed our crush on fictional Robin Hoods over the years.
Always. I'm a fan.
We're lusting after Lion Man and Robin Hood and Sherlock Holmes. Do you want podcast hosts? That's how you get podcast hosts.
True. Just all of those things. Combine those things into a basket, and there you go. And with that, I'm going to play some music.
There was a bee, a pretty little bee. I see why you might choose it. I'd rather have a madman wasp, because he plays all the music.
Choose the madman wasp. He plays all the music.
That's Separate Bed with The Standalone featuring Marek van Brunvol. I'm sure I said that 100% correctly. Before that, we had Todd and Karen with Cosmo Crowd. And starting off our set was Sunny Day Real Estate with I keep trying to pronounce it like it's Spanish. Furtenskurdo.
No, I mean, that's how I pronounced it.
I looked at that word and went, Puertensquerto. And I was like, I don't think that's right. And I was like, I asked Emmett in all seriousness, is that Puerten or Fuerten? And they're like, I don't think it's either.
I don't know. I've always pronounced it as Furten.
Furtenskurdo.
Because I thought it was, I don't know.
Well, that's probably right, considering the band is Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah, I don't know. I've had that album for 1,000 years.
Sometimes my South Florida comes out, and I can't help it. I'm like, there's a local road that's Estes, I believe is how it's pronounced. Estes.
I say Estes because it rhymes with testes.
I always want to say Estes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Estes. It's on South Estes. Because that is a word in Spanish, but not here.
Well, there's also a street that's called Lister. But the way it is spelled...
Lystra.
It looks like Lystra.
So, England, you do not have a monopoly on words not being pronounced the way that they're spelled.
Oh, no.
But the South can give you a run for the money.
Yes. Well, also, Chester drawers. Figure out what that is.
I know what Chester drawers are.
Yes, it's not a type of drawer that is made by a company named Chester.
No.
It is.
It's not a man either. Named Chester Drawers.
Named Chester Drawers. Though that would be a good burlesque name, I feel like.
Hold on. I'm going to go trademark that.
I feel like.
Chester Drawers.
Welcome to the stage, Chester Drawers.
That is my drag king name.
Oh,
hello, I am now Chester Drawers.
That's perfect.
I'm your new stepdad, Chester Drawers.
No, what it actually is chest of drawers.
Which is a dresser.
Or bureau.
Or a bureau.
If you're being super fancy.
Yes.
These are things that I learned when I first moved to North Carolina. Plus, also, this will be fun for our British listeners. When I first arrived in North Carolina in 1996, I turned on the radio and they were advertising, get this, you'll think it's hysterical, shag lessons. And I was shocked as to where on earth had I just moved, and I couldn't believe...
if you need lessons, you're doing it wrong.
I couldn't. I was so shocked, and I was blushing when I heard the ad, and my mother went, calm down. It's a dance.
It's not only a dance.
It's a dance that's taught on the beach. And I went, it would be. That would be where...
I've seen that dance.
That would be one of the ways.
It's how you get sand in places you don't want it.
Yes. And my mom had to very quickly explain that, no, it's a dance. Calm down.
From the 1960s, I believe.
Calm down.
And
sorry.
That's a bad word in England.
Sorry. Turbo.
That's a bad word in England. Talking about the differences in our language. Listeners, that's not offensive in America. It's very offensive.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not know.
It's not in America. Sorry, guys. Sorry, y'all. We're from the South.
Please bleep that out.
You're the one that controls it. Bleep. You should bleep it, and then everyone will wonder what it was you said. Emmett Davenport cancelled. Cancelled in England.
Now I have to go look it up.
Yeah, it's offensive in England.
Oh, how offensive?
Like, Like the R word offensive. Yeah. That's okay. You still didn't use a racial slur on the show accidentally, which is what I did. This one right here. Didn't know it was a racial slur. Hey! I'm sometimes sorry. I don't know things because my family weren't horrible.
I'm sorry, everyone, for ruining my horrible reputation and for using a word that I shouldn't have used. I did not realize.
That's okay.
This is also how I learned things. Like, there's apparently a name for a carrot cake muffin that I can't use because it is the name for it that is common in the United States is means morning wood in the UK.
I do know what that means.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm married to Mr. Duck.
Yes, and that one of my customers who lived in the UK for a little while let me know that's what that means, and I went, oh, well then I can't.
It really did not help that the muffins were actually shaped like carrots, and
well, no, they were shaped like bunnies, but
also not appropriate.
not appropriate.
You know what bunnies like to do?
Yes, so
they like to shag.
Yeah, so
and not the dance.
Yeah, so that was a whole kerfuffle. Is kerfuffle okay?
Kerfuffle is also a horrible slur.
Is it?
No.
Oh man, why do I only know horrible words?
No, kerfuffle is fine.
Okay. Oh, my whole vocabulary.
This is what happens sometimes when, you only hear things. And there is so much noise going on outside the studio. I'm hoping that they can't hear. Actually, we'll blame it on the neighbors. That was a neighbor who just burst into the studio and said those terrible things.
Words.
How dare they? We are offended.
Yes. No. I read a lot. So there's a lot of words that I don't know necessarily how to pronounce correctly because I have only ever read them.
I believe we can point back to me and fuerton.
Okay, that is true, yes.
We all know about my, shall we say, tenuous relationship with how words are pronounced.
It's true.
Emmett did one time turn to me after and was like, how can you say words in Spanish but not English? You don't speak Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, but the letters all sound like they're supposed to. There's no surprises.
It is true. I have heard that English is one of the harder languages to learn.
They don't have spelling bees in other countries because the words are just spelled like they sound. That makes me so angry.
That does make me angry.
Those of us that are terrible spellers right now are losing their minds.
Well, I'd move to another country, but then I'd have to learn a new language, and I'm terrible in this one.
Yeah, so that's right. I'm not great at English.
I don't know if
Yo no hablo español.
I don't know if I would be any better in any other language.
¿Dónde está el biblioteca? That's all I remember from my Spanish.
I know. Wait. Nope.
In French, it would be
¿Dónde está el baño?
Where is the bathroom? That's an important one.
Yes.
¿Dónde está la bar?
Yes.
Uno más, por favor.
Una cerveza, por favor.
Gracias.
No gracias.
Or no gracias.
Gracias. No gracias.
No gracias.
Yes.
Yo no hablo. Yo comprende un poquito. So watch your mouth.
This has been our Spanish language portion
of the Clockwork Cabaret.
Follow along with the little bouncing ball, and you will learn the words properly. There's no video.
Medium.
There's no video for this. Sorry.
Take acid and follow along with the bouncing ball.
We were talking earlier about doing video, and both of us realized that would mean we'd have to get dressed in like real person clothes instead of the slummy pajama-esque things we wear.
Not to ruin anyone's illusion of us, but I have on overalls rolled up to my knees, flip-flops. Looked like I just rolled out of bed, because it did. I did dress up for Emmett just a little bit. I adorned some possum earrings, but that's about.
Yeah.
And we're both very sweaty because it's getting to that part of the year.
Yes, and here in North Carolina, it is already 100 degrees. So, I think that's gonna wrap us up because the studio is getting so warm.
Apparently, people are chainsawing trees outside, so it's time to go.
Yeah, so we're gonna say goodbye, and I once again apologize for saying a naughty word. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, and I won't ever do it again. I promise. And with that, this has been the Clockwork Cabaret. She is Lady Attercop.
They are Emmett Davenport.
And it is not work we do,
it's love.
This is Mad Wasp Radio, home of the hits.